Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be discussing this article from Bounding into Comics that apparently there's a new rumor out there regarding Lucasfilm, regarding Star Wars. Now, look, I think I've already mentioned in this channel and probably in other videos that I have pretty much lost any and all interest in Star Wars moving forward. I could not bring myself to care about Star Wars anymore. The most that I will do is report on, any news that comes out, regarding Star Wars and Lucasfilm, just because I've made it pretty much my, because I pretty much made that what my channel is all about. I decided to report on anything that goes on in pop culture, or more specifically, just, anything that I think like, or anything that interests me enough to actually make a video about it. And I do think this is what we're about to discuss in this video is interesting to a degree, but not really. Like it's to the point where it might possibly get me interested in Star Wars again in the future, depending on whether or not these rumors, like, there's anything to them. So with all that said and out of the way, let's get to the actual video. Although, again, before I continue with the video, as always, guys, if you want to support the channel, if you like what I do here, please consider leaving a like, sharing the video, leaving a comment, letting me know your thoughts, and as always, guys, please consider subscribing, because I do check the analytics, and I know that most of the people who watch my videos, who interact with my channel, are people who are not subscribed to my channel. So if you could change that, and all you got to do is click on the subscribe button. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything, and it's only going to take you like a couple of seconds, and that's it. And you'll be really supporting the channel. So with all of that said out of the way, let's get to the actual video. So according to a rumor, now please keep this in mind, this is just a rumor. Disney is apparently discussing a new Star Wars film starring Luke Skywalker set after the return of the Jedi. So let's continue. Let's go ahead and read the article. I won't read the whole thing, just enough to get us like familiar with what's going on with the rumor, and then of course you guys are free to go read the article at your own time, whenever you want. So a new rumor details that Disney is discussing a Luke Skywalker solo film that will take place 10 years after Return of the Jedi and take place during the timeline of The Mandalorian. This new rumor comes from YouTuber overlord Doomcock, as he laid out 3 plans that Disney are discussing to, quote, erase the sequel trilogy and determine the future of Star Wars. He explains, I'm told everything is on the table as far as Star Wars is concerned, and specifically I've been given 3 scenarios that are being debated to erase the sequel trilogy and to determine the future of Star Wars. One good, one bad, and one that is lawful good / neutral in D&D terms. This is the video right here. Doomcock then went into detail about each of these 3 plans, and now this is one of them. It's called The Long Goodbye. The other one is called The Big Red Eraser. And the last one is called Return of the Lucas. So we'll briefly discuss each of them, and then I'm going to give you guys my thoughts, as always, on whether or not I think there's anything, to these. So let's start with The Long Goodbye. He began with the first one, which he calls The Long Goodbye. The first scenario is kind of a soft reboot of the sequel trilogy and is by far the worst option on the table. In this scenario, they use the veil of the Force to go back in time and warn Luke not to try and kill Ben Solo. Ben still turns to the dark side of the Force, but Luke's hands are clean, kind of. I mean, if they do this, it still stains Luke, because even in this revised scenario, Luke is still considering killing his nephew, Leia's son. If Luke has to be warned against killing Ben, he was still thinking about it. And yes, that is true. I mean, yeah, you could argue that it would stop him from, trying to kill Ben, but it doesn't stop, it doesn't change the fact that he still thought about it, and the fact that that thought actually crossed his mind. That's what makes people not like Luke's characterization in The Last Jedi, because you made him out to be someone who actually considers killing his sister's son, his own nephew. I mean, come on. He continues, so really what changed? Luke is still fundamentally someone who was so morally compromised, he actually thought about killing his nephew. That is true. He then adds, I'm told that in this scenario, The Force Awakens stays mostly the same with just a few tweaks here and there. The Last Jedi gets massively redone as Luke is dissuaded from attacking Ben. Ben Solo still becomes Kylo Ren, which kind of proves that Luke was kind of right to try and kill Ben and vindicates Ruin Johnson's version of things. Yes, unfortunately. And then finally, the Lucas cut would replace the Abrams cut of Rise of Skywalker, although it would have to be altered to reflect Luke surviving the revised The Last Jedi. And now let's go into the Big Red Eraser. Now, according to Doomcock, this is the best scenario, the one that Doomcock reportedly on a month ago, and the only, I believe, that can save Star Wars erasing the sequel trilogy entirely. He continues, in this scenario, they use the Veil of the Force to kill Palpatine when he enters the Veil at the end of The Return of the Jedi, thereby erasing everything that comes after that. The Disney trilogy becomes an alternate timeline and is never referenced ever again. He adds, in addition to this, I'm told they are contemplating a new Luke Skywalker movie set 10 years after The Return of the Jedi, set in the Mandalorian timeline. Doomcock then speculates about this film, saying, I think there's a reason they're considered doing this instead of doing a Luke Skywalker set around the time of The Force Awakens is this. Part of this second scenario involves filming George Lucas's trilogy as a replacement for the sequel trilogy, which lines up with my reporting of the rumored conditions Lucas set out for his return to Lucasfilm. Doomcock then documents Lucas's rumored for demands for his return to Lucasfilm. He states, so if they're going to film Lucas's official sequel trilogy, the adventures of Jedi Master Luke Skywalker don't fit in with Lucas's sequel trilogy as he imagined it. So they'd have to rehabilitate Luke in a movie set in the decade after Return of the Jedi. I don't know how they're going to do that, considering Mark Hamill's like in his 60s right now. So they're going to have to explain why Luke looks, so goddamn old, since it's only supposed to be taking place like a decade after Return of the Jedi, and Luke at that point would only be, if I'm remembering correctly, he'd still be in his 30s. So while I understand him being older, like it wouldn't explain why he would look why he would look like a man in his 60s, because Mark Hamill actually is a man in his 60s. He does state that recasting Luke Skywalker would not be an option. Doomcock states, I'm told that recasting Luke Skywalker thankfully is not an option here. If Mark Hamill wouldn't do the movie, they'd scrap it and move on to the third option. And here's the third option. And this is the return of the Lucas. In his opinion, they simply do Lucas's sequel trilogy without any of the old cast and completely disregard the sequel trilogy with no explanation given. He then goes on to details that his source then tells him that the second option, the Big Red Eraser, is the favored option, but he says it is emphasized as of now that nothing is set in stone and all options are on the table. Okay, so I said we weren't going to read the article, and yet that really was the entire article. Okay, so what do I think about this? Well, like I said, at this point, like I've gotten to the point where I very like I don't care about Star Wars anymore. It's just everything that went on with the sequel trilogy and with Disney and Lucasfilm and everything that goes on behind the scenes. It's just they've completely beaten any care that I ever had for Star Wars, and it's sad to say, because I've reached the point of just complete apathy. Like I don't care. However, if there is something to this rumor, if they were to tell me that Disney is genuinely considering erasing the sequel trilogy, like this is completely erased from canon, it's now some alternate timeline, kind of like Legends was, kind of like how the EU was the original canon of Star Wars, but then they completely erased that from canon and said that it's now part of the Legends timeline. Apparently they're going to do the same for the sequel trilogy, and then like they're going to make Lucas's original plans for the sequel trilogy, because if you guys remember, Lucas did submit sort of a I can't remember what it's called, a treatment for the sequel trilogy, but then Disney decided to throw that in the garbage, and they went with what Kennedy and Abrams wanted, and well, we all know how that turned out. So maybe they're gonna go back to that, and just completely disregard the sequel trilogy. Again, I know. Look, here's the thing. I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, I mean, come on, that sounds way too good to be true. And well, if this was in, like, if you were telling me this last year, then I would have instantly gone, yeah, no, they're not going to do that. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. However, considering the situation that we are in now, with the whole thing that's going on around the world, the thing that YouTube really doesn't like us talking about, some people are calling it the beer bug. So yeah, the fucking beer bug, and considering that Disney considering their stocks keep dropping, and the fact that they're not making any money at all, they're barely making any money with Disney Plus, and you know they're not making money off movie theaters. They are not making money off Disney parks. Seriously, like they've reopened the Disney theme parks in California, but nobody's going because they're too afraid to go because because of everything that's going on, and it's completely understandable. So again, like Disney, like they're in a situation where they are desperate. So now because of that, I'm more willing to say that, or I'm more willing to accept the fact that maybe there's something to this. But at the same time, you also have to consider, I mean, does Lucas himself even want to come back? Like, does Lucas even, I don't know if the guy himself even cares about Star Wars anymore. Like again, it's gonna take something. And in all honesty, why would he want to come back? Because like you guys have to remember, like it was mostly because of the fans, and because, well, not really fans, it was technically a small minority of the fans, but because of the fucking mainstream media, they chose to push this narrative that all fans hated Lucas because of what he did with the prequel trilogy, even though that's actually completely not true. In fact, a lot of fans actually liked the prequel trilogy, and no one actually hated Lucas because of it. I mean, look, were a lot of fans disappointed because of what happened in the prequels? Yes, but I don't think it's right to say that they outright hated Lucas because of what he did in the prequels. But because of that, he he felt like people just didn't like he felt like he wasn't wanted anymore, even in his own franchise. And so he thought, well, you know what? I'm just gonna sell it to Disney, and you know what? Maybe they can continue it. And well, we all know what happened then, unfortunately. So yeah, maybe there's a part of him that still cares about Star Wars enough to come back, but I think that most of him, like, he's just kind of done. And again, it depends. We'll see. We'll see if there is indeed news that comes out of Disney that Lucas has officially come back, and he's given full 100% creative control. Like he's allowed to do whatever the hell he wants with Star Wars without Disney over his shoulders, saying, "Oh no, you can't do this. Well, you can't do this. Well, you got to do this. You got to inject this." If all of that's happening, then no, I don't think Lucas is ever going to come back, because one of the reasons why he wanted to start off with his own, why so many people liked Lucas and what he did, is because he proved that it is possible to start this franchise without the backing of the studio, behind you. That it is possible. So if him coming back means he has to adhere to Disney and all of their fucking identity politics and all of their rules, then no, he's not going to come back. But if he's given 100% creative control to do whatever the hell he wants, then I think that might be the only thing that persuades him into coming back. Well, that and fans saying, yes, we do want you to come back. Please come back, okay? Fuck all the fucking haters who kept bashing you after the prequels, okay? That's just a small minority. Fuck them. Think about the majority of Star Wars fans who actually like what you did, who actually want you to come back. But anyway, those are just my thoughts, guys. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And again, if you like the video, if you want to support the support the channel, all you got to do is hit that like, share the video, leave a comment letting me know your thoughts. As always, you can discuss what we talked about in this, what was discussed in this video, amongst yourselves. And also, please consider subscribing. It's very easy. It'll take you 2 seconds, and it's gonna cost you absolutely nothing, and it's gonna go a long way in supporting the channel. And also, if you are subscribed, please make sure to check if you're still subscribed, because I keep hearing YouTube is unsubscribing people against without their knowledge. So just check to make sure that you're still subscribed. So with all of that said and out of the way, I'll finally end the video, guys. Take care of yourselves, because that's the most important thing at the moment right now. And I hope I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.